Welcome and good morning, everyone. Happy to have you along here today for today's session where we'll take a look at how to maximize meta ads on both Facebook and Instagram to promote your business. My name is Randy Lober, Growth Marketing Manager here at Action Benefits, and happy to take you along on this journey here today. A quick note, if you have come to these for any length of time, you know that I'm usually a camera on guy, but today kids are at home from school on this cold day in the middle of this, an unreal cold snap we're having here lately. And there's a better than zero chance I'm going to have to give someone like the mean dad look, like to stop doing that look, and rather spare you all from that. Make sure that I'm not visibly scolding you for doing anything here today. So camera will stay off today, but that also gives you a chance to stay focused on the demonstration today of how we can put your business in front of more people on both Facebook and Instagram. So just a quick overview of where we're going today and some kind of prerequisites that I'm going to assume for today's session. Although if these prerequisites are not true for you, please let me know that we can set up some time to get them established for you and get you on your feet rather. First thing I want to assume today before you get started here is that you do in fact have a personal Facebook page. Whether you use it or not, the personal Facebook page is necessary for the second prerequisite today, which is making sure that your business, your agency, has a business page within Facebook or on Instagram. Although Facebook, for my money, is a little bit easier to access in terms of their accessibility and ads user interface. So those are the two key things you want to make sure you have, both a personal Facebook and a company Facebook. If you do not yet have those established and don't know where to start, you're still okay here today, but please reach out to me or anyone on the Action Benefits team, and we're happy to help you get that started for your business. Should point out today that, or talk a little bit about why Facebook and why Meta here today, and why we're talking about targeting certain audiences here today as well, and why we might look at different audiences with other platforms next week, in fact. I really, if you are going to have success, where you'll have most success with Facebook marketing and Facebook advertising is in talking to those who are aging into Medicare. Uh, by all by now, you all know that about 11,000 folks age into Medicare every day, somewhere between 10 and 11,000. And you also probably all know that somewhere between 68 to 78% of baby boomers, at least in the United States, all have a Facebook account. And baby boomers, as we know, are the ones aging into Medicare here. So there's a good chance that the people you might want to target for that particular line of business are here on Facebook. That doesn't mean that you can't use the processes and procedures we'll outline here to um, market to other lines of business. Maybe you want to look for business owners on Facebook here. That's a possibility too. But generally suited, Facebook and Meta advertising is where you're going to get a lot of traction for both your Medicare business and your marketplace or off marketplace business as well. LinkedIn happens to be a better spot to find maybe those business to business connections. And we'll spend some time actually a week from today, a week from now or so, talking a little bit more about how you can use LinkedIn ads to build your group business and get in front of uh, decision makers that way. So we were talked a little bit about prerequisites. We talked a little bit about why we're here. Again, we want to make sure we have that individual Facebook page, we have that company Facebook page, and we're here because today we can want to kind of target Medicare beneficiaries, and we want to make sure maybe that we can target them year round. So that's what we're going to assume here going into today's session. We should point out that this is what you see when you log into your business page. I run our Action Benefits Insurance Agency Facebook page. This is our small retail arm that supports business that agents sell to us when they choose to exit the business for whatever reason. And we maintain a social media presence just so customers can say, hi, how you doing, so on and so forth. So that's all this page is here. What's important to us for this, though, is on the left-hand side, uh, Meta, Facebook gives you a few different ways you can manage that page via your professional dashboard, via Insights, which gives you some insights on how and whether and how people are interacting with your page and who is. There's the Ad Center and Create Ads features, which we'll come back to a little bit later on in just a few moments. You can also boost Instagram posts directly from here. You can also manage leads that you collect through Facebook here, your Meta Business Suite, which kind of gives you everything across both Facebook and Instagram and threads you might be managing here too as well. Or if you happen to be a nonprofit, although none of you are, there's some extra functionality built in for you here too. So today we're going to start with kind of a simple ad that doesn't use a lot of what Facebook can do. This is kind of like the Meta Ads 101 version. Should you want the 201, we can talk about that here as well, but let's go ahead and get started. And fortunately, Facebook makes it really easy to figure out how to start ads here because that's how they thrive, right? They make their money on advertisements and you and other people and big companies paying for space on the platform to get in front of users. Uh, we all use Facebook and other platforms for free, but that's because in a lot of ways we are the product. There are two buttons you can use here, either create ads or advertise. Both will take you to the same place, but the advertise button kind of sticks out a little bit more. Doesn't matter which one you click, either way, you're going to end up here. Want to talk to you a little bit about the options you see here on your left side before we talk a little bit about what's in front of you here. Down the left-hand side, you see automated ads, and that can be a great solution where Facebook does a lot of the heavy lifting for you in terms of who to show ads to, what should be in the ads, so on and so forth. But because today I want to focus on a Medicare ad, I'm going to take a little bit more control to make sure that Facebook doesn't do anything that doesn't go against CMS rules here. I can choose my ad type, and that's the screen I'm on here. We'll talk about those more in just a moment. And I can also boost content. So if there's a Facebook post I really like that I've made, I can pay on Facebook or pay on Instagram to put that post in front of more people without some of the steps that we're going to see here in just a moment. So that's a possibility for you as well. But today, again, we're focusing on that Medicare ad, and there's a few ways we can get that done. So we're going to go ahead and you can either choose to add to your advertising plan if you already have one, but we'll assume you don't have one yet. We will create a new ad here. And it will take you to a screen that looks like this. And then for full disclosure, I preloaded some work here today because the internet's been a little bit spotty, and so is Meta here today. So I'll walk you through what you'll see over here on this screen. First thing Facebook asks you to talk about here today is the goal. What results would you like to see from this ad? You can go with an automatic goal. Facebook, as it says here, bases that goal based on how you put in the ad. And probably about 90% of the time, you'll get what you want out of letting Facebook make that choice for you. So that is an option, but I want to walk through some other things here too, because it can change the way that you approach building your ad copy, building your action buttons, and so on and so forth. So you can set your goal to get more calls. And what that does is, as I hover over these items here, it gives you, if you look down at the bottom of those ads, it gives you a call now button. So if you've got someone on the phones, right, or are running these ads during your business hours, you can hopefully expect those calls during business hours for that, if that's the way you choose to do business. You can also choose to send people during a straight to a website. And you see popping up here on the screen, both the Facebook example of that and the Instagram example of that, where you see the Learn More button on the bottom of those two tabs. You also have the Get Leads functionality here too, where you'll see people have the opportunity to submit their names and email. A nice thing about this particular function is that people don't have to click anywhere else. Facebook generally has this information stored for them. So all they have to do is click the blue button to submit that information to you. Some drawbacks to that, though, might be that you need to log in pretty regularly and check those leads because people are going to be expected to be contacted fairly quickly after they give you their information here. The other thing to be mindful of here is whether or not, depending on the campaign you're running, the lead form abides by all CMS rules and regulations about disclaimers and so on and so forth if you're working in the Medicare space. If you are running a more general campaign, I'm just saying here's my agency and not talking about Medicare in particular, or if you're talking, in the marketplace or the employer group markets, uh, you may have more flexibility in using that particular function. You can also choose to drive traffic directly to your Facebook page, and that could be a good option, especially if you're starting out to try and build more momentum here on the platform. You can choose to get more messages from folks here as well. So again, this requires that you or someone in your office is actively monitoring your Meta account, your Facebook account for messages here. You can go for likes here, and you can also promote your business locally, which connects with people located generally in your area. There's no bad option here. It really depends on the resources you're able to put behind it and what you want to get out of the campaign here. For me, though, what I'm going to ask us to do here is we'll leave this as automatic and see how this campaign shapes up for us. The next choice Facebook gives you is the option to shuffle your creative, and that means it will take your pictures, take your words, and mix and match them all around and show them to people differently to try and figure out what combination rather, what formula is most appealing to people and what's most likely to drive them to click and come to your website or make calls or so on and so forth. Generally speaking, if you are, again, working in those less regulated markets, employer group, marketplace, so on and so forth, that's an okay option. But because today we'll work here with the Medicare ad, we're going to leave that option off because we're going to be using some pre-approved scripted language from United Healthcare in this case. And we know that it's been approved by them and by CMS. There's things we can pull off the shelf for them here. Down here is the ad creative, and here's where you make some decisions about what your post will look like. Again, because we're working in the Medicare space, I wanted to make sure I was super compliant. I pulled some stuff straight off the shelf from United Healthcare's portal. Every carrier we work with, to some extent, has a variety of off-the-shelf social media content you can use in the individual markets, at least. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan does not yet have something comparable in the employer group market. But if you are looking for an opportunity to help design an ad or a thought partner with that, whether we are doing the work for you or with you or giving you some ideas, let me know. Happy to help you out with that, and we'll get started there. In any case, because we are using a CMS compliant ad here, we are using language supplied here by UHC, get predictable out-of-pocket medical costs by adding an AARP Med Sup, and we have contact information for our agency here as well as a mandatory hashtag from UHC. And all we need to do is to select that is either upload images or upload videos as appropriate to add things to these campaigns. So we'll use this video from UHC, and we'll also use this pre-written text from UHC here too. And we should point out that as we come up here, if we were to see all previews, I don't want to reload. See all previews. If Meta were cooperating, that's how you know it's a live demo. It would show us how these ads will look on a variety of platforms, whether mobile, whether desktop, so on and so forth here. Should point out that right here under the ad, right here under the ad preview is our estimated data results. And right now, if we just left it at the default settings and the default spending, here's what we would expect to see. We could expect that we might reach 736 up to 2,100 people per day, and expect to get somewhere between 27 and 79 folks clicking on our ad here or visiting our website. So that's a fairly good thing here, and that's all with a $5 per day budget. So honestly, if I told you could get another 2,000 people looking at your business and 70 up to 80 people coming to your website for $5 a day, that's not a bad deal. Facebook and Meta can be really affordable, especially if you're just starting your advertising journey. So we'll keep an eye on that though as we adjust some things down here and see how that changes as we make decisions over here in the main body. So the headline here is just the Action Benefits Insurance Agency shows us generally a good idea to keep that as your agency name because it's going to show up in big black and bold letters on your ads. And you, of course, want to build that name recognition with folks who may not know you that well. You can change your button labels, and it's going to change a few different things for us here too. Right now, it's contact us, but if I were to change it to call now, it's asking me to reload that again. We won't do that here because we don't want to lose our progress. And now we're stuck in a loop. All right, might just have to reload it. But as we'll see here, while Meta is trying to figure itself out here, is that as we change the button, so too does the preview on the ad, and so too do the numbers on the right side of the screen. Should this reload go as planned? While I suppose that we're waiting here, I'll take any questions you might have. There are some things we want to show you about who you can target and how you can do so. Let's just maybe start this from the beginning here. Looks like this whole window is maybe having some problems for us. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and pick up where we left off. I'm going to go ahead and again, this is how you know it's a live demo. I'm going to go ahead and use that same video here. And I will pull down the same text from UHC. So give me just a moment so we can start from there. And we're back to just about where we were. Okay, as we come down here, there's a few different options we can choose from our button labels. So we can go through to things like sign up, watch more, donate, get a quote. All those things are possible here. Maybe though, because if I well, I should point out that if we say sign up here, that does come up here from this form. So I see how that adjusts the preview here. But if I change it to something like call now, that does change the call to action in my preview as we see that regenerate over here. And it does change how many accounts and how many clicks we can expect from this current campaign here as well. So that button will change and everything looks as it does in real time. We'll say for now that we do want those calls. We want folks in here. We can allow people to request callbacks via Messenger here as well. So that callback feature is just where people can, again, say, hey, I tried to get a call of you, or try to get a hold of you, give me a call back when you can. So we can toggle that on for this campaign as well. Doesn't impact your cost, but it does let people know that there's a way that they can stay in touch with you. This Advantage Plus Creative option can be a good option. What it does is allow Facebook to use its AI to automatically generate some additional content that it thinks will match the people that you are advertising to. That's when it's likely to improve performance. But again, no, because we are using a Medicare specific ad here with Medicare specific copy, I'm going to turn that option off because I don't want don't want the robots, the AI to do anything that will um, get me in trouble compliance-wise from CMS. It does ask you if the ad is about housing. You're probably never advertising about housing, so you never need to worry about that box here. But there are some additional rules that go into housing ads, so on and so forth, that Facebook has to ask you about when you make that decision. Then, ladies and gentlemen, here is the both equally fun and creepy part where you can figure out who you should show your ad to. The Advantage Plus audience, again, Advantage Plus is code for Facebook's AI, where it tries to read user behavior and figure out what people will be best suited for your ad. And that's certainly an option for you. The caveat I would say though is that because it takes time for it to learn your ads, you could be, if and if you're working on a shoestring budget, it could take some time to see results there because Facebook has to learn who is responding to your ads and who is likely to see them, and so on and so forth. So that's an option and fairly simple to set up. I'll just show you what it looks like. It lets you choose your genders, age range, and locations you want to show to, and then you're off to the races from there. But if you want to get a little more surgical with your targeting, you really want to make the most of your advertising dollar, we can take a look at people we choose through targeting and really build an audience that we want to show these ads to. So again, we have some options here. What genders of people are we targeting here? We're Everybody, as far as I know, turns 65, whether you're a male or a female. So we'll advertise to all genders, and we can set our age ranges anywhere that we feel appropriate here. As a side note, you can go as narrow as 64 to 65 plus, because you can target people who have a birthday coming up. So you can target people, for their 65 age ends. But because we're working with med subs here, we could go 65 plus, and kind of because there is no hard enrollment period for that, although there are those GI rates to worry about. For this campaign, we'll go 64 to 65, just so I can show you how to target that birthday. But again, go as narrow or wide as your plans dictate. Next thing you want to think about is location. It defaults to your business address plus a 10-mile radius and kind of shows you everything around that. So it shows you Southfield here plus 10 miles because that's our business address here at Action Benefits. You can go more, you can go less, you can do whatever you like here. If I were to widen that out to maybe 15 miles, that's an option here too. Depends on how far and wide either it is you want to travel or how far you expect customers to travel when you're showing these things to them. So that's an option for us here. But the real fun part is the detailed targeting. And this is where I can choose folks who I think may be likely to get engaged with these ads based on some characteristics about them. You can do that by searching characteristics you're looking for, like perhaps they have a birthday. So if I know I'm going to be running this for the next 2 or 3 months or so, maybe I can say they have a birthday coming up. So maybe they do have a birthday in February, which isn't coming up, but if I give it a little more help, that's an option. So if their birthday month is in February, this ad could show specifically to them. That's one way we can target the ads. If we know they are retired or retiring, we can sort by job titles here. Maybe you have a niche that you serve, right? Maybe you do serve retired veterans, or maybe you do serve retired principals or elementary teachers. That's an option for you. You can get that narrow if you want. But we can also take a look at folks, their education, their financial levels. You can look at income based on their top 10% or middle quartile, so on and so forth. Here's another way to filter for life events. Maybe if someone does have a birthday coming up, that didn't load as we might want it to, but I trust me that those do come up and show up as months, or you can say that they have an upcoming birthday here. You can look at people with new friends, or maybe because people often move when they have a new job, you can advertise to people who have a new job because that might trigger a special enrollment period for them. You can look at newlyweds because that might trigger special enrollment periods, again, depending on your line of business. You can look at their work habits or job titles. You can look at relationship status. Maybe you only want to look at people who are engaged because you know they'll be married soon. You can trigger an SEP with them for that. You can look at folks who are parents, lots of different things here. On the interest side, we can pick a few more things that they might be interested in. We know, for example, that these AARP Medicare supplement plans often appeal to folks who are interested in fitness. They want to stay fit because there's that gym, uh, you know, discount included. So we can include folks who are looking for physical exercise or physical fitness. Maybe they're interested in weight training too. We can target based on that interest. We can also look at certain behaviors, like maybe their anniversary, when their marriage anniversary here, whether they are a mobile device user or not, if there's ways we want to get to here. You can also look at whether they are a newer business on Facebook and look at their digital activities around, um, whether they use Facebook apps, what apps they use. There's lots of stuff you can get down here too, whether including whether or not they're expats, and maybe there's people. Maybe you specialize in. We have a few agents actually who specialize in um, serving like the Polish immigrant community in Hamtramck. So you could look for people who are from Poland, for example. In any case, lots of different ways you can carve your audience here. We'll go forward with what we have selected at the moment, and we can go ahead and uh, close that and confirm our audience. So based on the decisions we've made here, we can see that these numbers have changed. We can see that we're going to reach between 830 to 2.4 thousand members per ad here, and we'd expect somewhere between 76 to 220 clicks on this ad per day. Other options you do have are you can advertise only to folks who like your page. You can advertise only to folks who like your Facebook page and people who are similar to them, or you can just keep it local to your business area. All of those are options for you as well. Should also say that while we're building locations, this came to mind because it's a question that sometimes people also ask. Maybe you have an office here in Southfield, but maybe you also have an office in Orlando because you're a snowbird and so are your clients. You can also run ads in both locations. And again, that changes the numbers that we'd have here for us. And you'll see here that those numbers actually went down. Both the account center accounts reached and the link clicks went down. And the reason that is because when you are buying ads, you're actually participating in an unseen auction. Everyone, whether it's your money against big corporation money versus everyone else's money that's advertising on Facebook, is all competing for that same ad space. And as you can imagine, selling to retired people in Florida gets to be more competitive than selling to retired people in Michigan. So by including that Orlando audience here, we made our ads a little bit more expensive to be able to reach there. So just be aware of that, where advertising is all about location, and that can impact your budget and your expected performance here as well. Down here, I can also choose whether this ad will run continuously, so I can turn it off whenever I like. I can give it a defined end date here as well. So maybe I only want to run this for 2 or 3 weeks or so, uh, and have a defined date here. As I adjust those dates, you see my budget changes here. So because I'm running for 44 days at $5 per day, my total budgeted amount comes to $220. But I also have options here to choose and manage my budget. So I can bump that up to $500 per day. And as you can see, the more money I spend, the more people I'll reach, the more link clicks I'm projected to get here from this ad. The less money I spend, the more those numbers change back the other way, right? So keep in mind that the way Facebook makes its money is through advertising here. While these results can be pretty indicative of what you'll get, Facebook will often send you reminders saying, hey, this isn't doing as well as other campaigns. Are you sure you don't want to throw more money at it? That is entirely your decision, but also know that Facebook has a business goal in sending you that message. They want more of your money because that's how they keep everything running. So really judge and feel your performance based on how that's going for you here. You have a few more decisions to make. One of them is Advantage Plus placements, and that will let Facebook maximize your budget across Facebook Messenger, so on and so forth. Not a bad idea to leave that on because it's going to let Facebook show those ads exactly where they're performing best. So you're not wasting some of your valuable advertising dollars on a spot that they're not doing so well. And then you can update your payment method and hit publish, and you are off to the races. Your ad will be served to people after a short review period. If you're a new advertiser, that can last up to 24 hours. Established advertisers, that review period can take a bit shorter than that, sometimes as little as an hour or two, again, depending on what you're trying to do and how many people you're trying to reach. So that is the art and science of putting together an ad. I want to show you a few other things behind the scenes here as well, but want to pause for any questions you might have before we go forward. So let me check out the chat in the Q&A. And a limit on how many locations you can advertise in. Say you are an agent fortunate enough, or maybe unfortunate enough, to work in several states, or you want to get a little bit wider with your budget. Here in the audience targeting, you can choose. Maybe I don't want just Southfield. Maybe I don't want Orlando. Maybe I want the whole darn United States. And that's an option too, right? So there's no limit to what you can do. For $5 a day, you get a little bit broader, but that again is showing to all 50 states, right? So you better be licensed and appointed in all those 50 states if you're going to be casting your net that wide. So just be wary of that. Don't outkick your coverage with your advertisements here going forward too. That said, a few more things I want to show you behind the scenes. Let me get out of this ad here, and I'm going to jump back a window to that window we started in here today, and come back to the Facebook management page because I want to show you a few more things here. Your Insights tab can be really helpful in seeing who's interacting with your page and uh, show you how your ad spend is going. So you'll see liked posts, you'll see your audience breakdown, who's interacting with your page by age and gender, which is fairly helpful here. We can also go to our ad center. And in our ad center, it will show you the performance of recent ads that you might have run, show you your total ad spend, how many people have seen them, how many folks have clicked on it. And you'll get a good idea of what those ads are doing, with the opportunity to edit those ads, pause those ads, so on and so forth, view the results of those ads as you go forward here as well. And again, that summary shows you some other things you can do here too. So that's kind of how you'll monitor your performance from your ad center or from your professional dashboard, just to make sure that it's meeting your targets as you're going forward. And as you edit ads, if maybe you find an ad hasn't been that successful, you can always turn it off, and try something else, or try a different approach, try a different audience as you go forward there. So, ladies and gentlemen, that pretty much covers our demo from A to Z. Just a quick and dirty session about how to build that first, maybe Medicare centric ad. Happy to take any questions you have about either this campaign or how to build ads for other audiences you might be taking. So, I'll go ahead and mute, take a sip of water, and look for anything you might have that's on your mind. So, yeah, good question coming in privately in the chat here. There is You can certainly target business owners using the audience message we used here. So Facebook is where you're comfortable, right? That's certainly an option. It's all about changing these demographics here in the detailed targeting. So if I wanted to search for a business owner. Again, we're kind of relying on people to self-report their job titles and so on and so forth, or small business owners. Facebook has a good idea of who might be a small business owner based on their behavior, so that's where I'd look here first. Although we do know that a lot of small business owners, particular, tend to put that as a job title in their post, so that could be an option for you here as well. Facebook in general, though, it's a lot harder to target those business audiences than it is perhaps on LinkedIn, which is a great segue actually to next week's session, where we'll be talking a little bit more about LinkedIn and how you can use that to market specifically to other businesses. All that said, ladies and gentlemen, I don't see any other questions waiting for us here. So if you do have any more questions, please feel free to reach out to me at learning@actionbenefits.com, or you can get a hold of us on our main line uh, to either talk to me or anyone else on the Action team. Um, all that, and if there's nothing else that needs to be addressed here, I do hope that you all stay warm here today, and hopefully you get some good success out of whatever you choose to do here with Meta ads on Facebook and Instagram. Seeing no other questions, again, I thank you again for your time and attention. Look forward to seeing you all again at another Action Academy session. Enjoy your days.